building community rationality for rural sustainability. First, I'd like to introduce myself very briefly. My name is Teng Wei from South China Normal University, and my academic interest is focused on Latin American literature and film. And I'm also an arena fellow, so that's why I'm here to attend this forum and learning a lot from all of you. Thank you for the organizers for letting me moderating this section. It's a great honor for me. So let's start. We have 4 speakers in this afternoon. Everyone has 15 minutes. The first, then welcome Dr. Chen from Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. He will give us a presentation on practices and reflections on rural community building.
My name is Chen. I'm from Chinese Academy of Social Science, the Institute of Sociology. I spend most of my time on the rural sociology and action research in the rebuilding of rural society in modern China. So I'd like to give you an simple illusion about what the problem of a Chinese rural society. You might know that in each spring festival, at least 500 of Chinese people take the train, plane, and bus and ship around China. They go to their home and back to home to the town and the city again. So such a huge population travel around China each year in Spring Festival. The scale is much than an EU population. So 2/3 of this population are Chinese farmers. So this phenomenon lasts at least 50 years. What does it mean? This is the topic I would like to discuss and introduce to you this afternoon. 在这就有不少这个咱们中国的同事。我刚才给大家稍微介绍一个背景。每年春节的时候，我们大概全国有5亿人次通过火车、轮船，还有这个公共汽车，在中国大地上往返于他们的家乡和他们工作场所。这种现象意味着什么？这种现象已经持续了15年之久。意味着什么？这个就是我们今天的主题：中国的2元经济与体制的问题。放大。Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So the topic I want to discuss this afternoon is about the dual system and rural community. A dual system, the notion is come from Lewis. In 50s last century, he has a very famous paper talk about the balance of labor supply and the dual economic system. What does it mean by dual? It means the modern sectors and the traditional sector. So they mainly indicated that most of the third world developing country, there was a typical type of economic and society system, that's a dual system. Traditional sector like a rural society, like a very small business, and a modern sector like a big factory and modern the third sector industry. So, and this difference make the labor have a choice between these two sectors. First, the labor from a rural society like to find job in the modern sector because high salary. And during this process, maybe there is a balance. So the two sectors of salary, labor price is almost same and the move stop. So, but this assumption and this model never come to true during these 60 years developing countries experience. But in China, after the open door policy and reform, Chinese scholar introduced this dual system to explain the Chinese society and economic phenomena. Particularly indicated the separation of rural society and the urban society in China. So they use this concept, it's different from the Lewis, used it in 50s last century. The Chinese scholar criticized that in China society and economic system there is a two type of society and the economy, which completely divided and separated, means that the rural area is quite like behind and low income, and in modern urban society there are high increase GDP, the high salary, the rapid improvement of the life quality. But during these 30 years, the mainstream of the Chinese scholar and the government officials never mentioned that this dual system is not only have the negative impact on the Chinese society and development, but have a huge, tremendous positive impact on the Chinese economic growth and the society development. That's what I want to introduce very generally to you and in this topic. A reality. The dual system is the reality of the Chinese society and the economic during the last 30 years. So, one may unmentioned that in Mao's time, it's the beginning of the dual system in Chinese society. But from my point of view, I refuse this an explanation and conclusion. In Mao's time, it's overall planning economy. There is a labor division and a function division. There's never such a separation so seriously that we can see after the open door and reform policy. In that time, because the limited modern sector and employment and the shortage of food supply, it's necessary for central government to organize the national labor and national production sectors to deal with the problem. So at that time, its overall plan, the goal is to achieve the industrialization. Everybody knows that according to experience of a developed country, the starting of industrialization, the GDP per person should be reached to $130. But at the 50s, early 50s, the Chinese GDP per head is about $30. That means we have no condition to start industrialization. That means that we should accumulate enough capitals, investments to force an industrialization processes to start. But we cannot occupy this capital and investment from take the resources abroad. We have to take from our citizens, our people, and the huge sector at that time, at early 50s, is rural society and agriculture. But after the open door and reform policy, the Chinese scholar circles have a very great ambitions. They have an imagine of what is the modern China and what is modernization in the future. Of course, this imagination is quite linked to the America and the Europe society. That means we should have the economic structure and the social structure be quite similar like America and Europe in 50 or maybe 30 years, in 30 years or 50 years. What does it mean? It means that if Americans' agricultural population just have a 3% of the total population, why not China? If the Chinese rural society is so poor and from their point of view is quite lag behind of modern sector like industry, like modern the service sector, why not China completely abolish the rural society to force the people to be an urban citizen? That's so-called urbanization and industrialization. Most of people, up to now, at the moment, most of people in the Chinese government, and the scholar circle believe that China can follow the American or Europe's path to achieve its goal, to have a similar economic and social structure. That means the countryside, the rural society, have a huge, at least at the moment, have 800 million of people in the rural society, should be greatly urbanized. That means completely abolish traditional way of life of rural society and rural production. Let them quickly become to a citizen in the industrial and modern service sector, have the employment. But the question is, can China achieve this goal? Can the scholars' dream be true in future? I'm greatly hesitated about achieve this answer. But from my point of view, I think that this goal is only a kind of a dream which never be completed, achieved, because we will introduce some limitations about the Chinese modernization if they have a goal like America today. First, the population scale. China have a population equal to 4 or 5 EU population, and at least 4 American population. Think about, we have 900 millions of labor. If 900 millions of labor totally go into the modern sector, could the world, could developed country accept it? Do you prepare to accept this new 100 millions of newcomer to share your industry profit, to share your market? I don't believe that. So we have first, itself is a large population scale. That's limitation. Second is international environment, international politics and international economics. So the follow question is, if we cannot achieve the modernization like America and Europe,